The goal of the show is to help you break in and thrive in advertising, and we do that every single week by sharing the stories and advice of those rocking it on the other side. We also have 60 seconds of advertising news you need to know posted daily on our LinkedIn. It's unlike any other news source. You should check it out, give it a follow. Today, we're going to be diving into the realm of media. We're joined with Eric Perko, founder and CEO of Apollo Partners. They're a media agency built for brands that expect more than just a line item. And listen, what I like about Eric, he's been everywhere, from eBay to working with Taco Bell to launch SoFi and leading global work for Google. He's done like all this stuff where he's worked with Brian Nichols and Tressie Lieberman, who are like legends in this industry. And he's going to sit down and teach us on how he has built a modern media agency, how it works, why smaller, sharper teams win, and how media should drive growth, not just spend. So whether you're a creative, a brand marketer, or just media curious, this one will make you smarter. Now on with the show. This is the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast, and as usual, I'm your accomplice, Gino Schellenberger. Kick it, Mikey. Eric Perko, welcome to the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. How the heck are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Where were you this morning?
This morning I was at Mirren in the financial district at the World Trade Center, which is a new business conference. It was great, very enlightening.
Do you feel like you got new business from going to the new business conference?
Not yet. No contracts. I was hoping for a contract, but we didn't get any contracts.
Yeah. You show up, they guarantee you get a new contract.
They didn't deliver.
I mean, this is going to be fun. You are the founder and CEO at Apollo Partners. So media landscape, media world, I need education in this. So does our listeners. So I'm really pumped to talk with you, dive into it, learn about what makes you guys different, and maybe your advice.
Yeah.
You have a different perspective.
Yeah.
Advice for the next generation, for the people that are listening that are already in the industry, those ad nerds, like how can they be better at their jobs? How does that sound for a run of show?
That sounds great.
Lock and load.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we get into it, what do you like to do outside of work? What's your life like? Or is it all work? That's cool too.
No, I have a lot of hobbies. I like to exercise and go running. I grew up in Oregon, which they call Tracktown. I went to school at University of Oregon, which is where Prefontaine went. So that's always been a big part of my life. I'm getting older, so running's harder. But
listen, I read the Shoe Dog book.
Yeah,
the
that's a great
shoe.
book.
Yeah.
Phil Knight.
Oh yeah.
But right now
Next
I have most of my time taken up with my two children. I have a boy who's 9 and a daughter who's 6, and they're awesome. My son's obsessed with skateboarding. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say media.
No,
okay.
not yet.
Not yet, but he will be.
No, so my wife and I, that takes up most of our time.
Skateboarding.
Yeah, he's obsessed with skateboarding.
He should listen to our Tony Hawk episode.
I saw that. I'm gonna have him listen to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a scary hobby as a parent. Like, do you kind of freak out?
No, we try not to freak out. He hasn't, knock on wood, been too hurt yet. But the first thing they teach him how to do is how to fall well.
Oh.
So he's been successful, but at 9 they soak it up so fast, so he's gotten really good in like a year and a half, which is amazing.
Interesting. They should teach aspiring entrepreneurs how to fail well. That'd be good for us. But okay, so you're a father, you like to work out. What type of workouts do you do?
It's mostly running. I like weight training. I like golf. I've gotten really into golf lately, so yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find new ways away from running because it gets harder as you get older.
Yeah, on the joints.
No, all the things, yeah.
So now tell me about what it's like to be a founder and CEO at Apollo Partners. What does your day-to-day look like? What is your job at this company?
Apollo Partners has been around for 5 years. So I think so far it's been very fulfilling and everything that I had hoped it would be. We're a full-service, independent, fully capable media agency doing everything from brand and performance and traditional and digital, and doing it at the highest level and in all forms of it, from managing down to nitty-gritty performance campaigns on platforms like Meta, to integrating ads into the Super Bowl, to creating new lines of media business for some of our clients. So it's been super exciting. I think one thing that I love most about it is that as a founder and being able to be in charge, like, you're kind of bound by nothing. And as long as you have a lot of expertise and know what you're doing and can guide clients into areas that make a lot of sense for their business. So the first 5 years have really delivered on that promise, which is very exciting.
Incredible. Where are you guys based?
We're founded in the Bay Area. I live in Oakland.
Nice.
But a lot of our growth has come in Austin, Texas, where we have an office there, and also here in New York City, where we have an office down the financial district.
Can you talk about the how many employees that you have?
Yeah, we have about 25 employees right now. I mean, we started just before COVID, so we've done all of our growing in a pandemic or post-pandemic era.
Yeah.
So I think we operate at a level that's probably historically much larger than 25 because we can tap into a lot of resources that used to be a full-time job and no longer are. Like things like finance or like legal and HR aren't full-time employees. And we're trying to stay as small as we possibly can by design because I just have a strong belief that that's like what enables great work. And all the great things that I've been part of have all been marked by a number of things. But one of the most consistent things is like they're small focused teams of people that have a lot of capabilities. And I think it just drives up accountability and speed. And getting to great ideas.
Great. And I want to do some overview questions to teach our audience and myself. So really baseline stuff here. Describe the difference between a media agency and a creative agency for everybody listening.
Yeah, I mean, a media agency partners hopefully very closely with a creative agency, but we manage all of the front-end communication strategy, digging into audience research and figuring out what channels make sense. And we carry that all the way through to like negotiation, media planning, media buying, actually contracting for the space, and then all the details and various aspects that go into execution. So ad trafficking, tagging everything properly. And then that's when the real fun starts of when the campaign's out there and like learning everything of how it's going, reporting back on creative performance or different tactic performance, and then optimizing everything. And it carries into that from post-campaign analysis and hopefully getting smarter and better with everything that we put out in the world and improving upon it.
Interesting. What are like some of the like most important skill sets for anybody that wants to be in this in this field?
I think at Apollo, it's a unique set of skills. Like you have to be really excited about marketing and advertising overall, and really encouraged by how much media is evolving, and because it's a space that's changing every single day, and there's a lot of things that don't necessarily make sense and are not good recommendations, but finding ways between all that to uncover unique opportunities for brands to show up. So you have to be super detail oriented because a lot of it is like numbers and finances and math. But that's not everything. It's like needs to take itself out of a spreadsheet. And I think what is important to us is people who take a step back and look at like the full spectrum of media opportunities and how it all comes together. So, so we look for, folks who have both sides of that brain present, and really care about all the possibilities that are out there.
What's your favorite brand right now? Like,
ooh, good question.
Yeah. Maybe something you bought recently.
I mean, I loved the Nike spot that went back to like if Nike hadn't like funded the violation and the penalties of him wearing his shoes, because being from Portland, that was like a huge part of my upbringing, but it basically created sports marketing, and like that is now such a important piece of any marketing plan is integrating into sports. So I thought it was a really fun way to go back to like the Spike Lee commercials and tell that story if Nike hadn't done that.
It was great. Yeah, they like blocked off the shoes and stuff. And like I know at the United Center they did that, and they got a lot of buzz too. Yeah. I was gonna ask them I was actually gonna have you quiz me. I was gonna do like a mock media plan, see if I got it or not. But,
yeah. What brands do you notice showing up in media?
Oh man.
Or when you see something cool, do you be like, that's a cool media plan? Like who?
Well, I'm only on TikTok. Like that's like the channel. Where have we gone, Jack? Like activation wise, we did we saw the Ordinary launch. Like there's a brand pop up in Soho that we went to see. I thought that was really cool because they put like the $1 million that they're not using on.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, so that one's top of mind. But mainly the stuff I see is like on TikTok. Because I don't have TV.
Yeah.
I just got Netflix, and the ads on Netflix are incredible. I'm like I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Jack called me broke for having the version where I get the ads on Netflix, but I've been enjoying those spots.
Yeah.
They're pretty targeted. It's like NYU Langone Health is like hitting my thing, and that's a shared account. I'm borrowing that from my Chicago suburbs house. Yeah. So it's got me. Like it's great.
And it's different for you guys because you're in New York City, but it's like if you're trying to reach the whole country with like an effective media plan, it's like we see that there's a lot of opportunity to reinvent how media planning is happening, and really putting yourselves in like the end consumer's shoes, because the plans that a marketing org might think are really good might not hit with, like, especially younger generations. You're like, I only watch TikTok. Like, a lot of plans don't even have TikTok on their plan. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys are quoted, you're known for saying media should be a growth lever, not just a line item. First off, what does that mean, and what does that look like in practice?
Yeah, I think it starts by knowing that media is important. And I think that media used to be, I mean, if you watch like Mad Men, like media was in the back room, literally. And like,
it's easy. There's only a couple channels, right?
Yeah, it was pretty easy to like have everyone have a fairly successful media plan if you had enough budget. That has obviously changed over the last couple of decades. So I think it starts first and foremost with like understanding that your media plan really matters. I think it then feeds into a CMO or a marketing decision maker understanding that media and creative should not be planned in vacuums. I think the best, and like what we're always in search of, is the opportunity to bring creative ideas to life through media and find really creative ways of doing that, and what's the best way to illustrate an idea in the real world. How you do that is you build teams of people who have expertise that enables them to be able to do that. So people who have worked across brand and performance, and have worked through sports licensing or entertainment deals, and like know how a bill becomes a law in that type of realm.
Yeah.
And then having, encouraging creative teams to understand the possibilities of media too. So it's like, it's not easy to do. But I think when you do it right, it can really open up a lot of doors. And a lot of the ways that we advocate for, like, us getting paid, for example, are breaking historical norms of, like, we don't just want to simply spend the most amount of money. So if you do it right, like, you can ideally spend less money and be far more successful.
Well, I'm sure other agencies, media agencies, are not saying that out loud. So that's like really cool that you guys.
I think the good ones probably are.
That's great.
Yeah, the good ones probably are. I mean, I think as a media agency, one thing that we tell our clients or prospective clients a lot is like, it should be our job to tell you to spend less if that's like the right recommendation, as opposed to spending more.
Yeah. And you guys, the sweet spot, like for like the brands that you're working with, the marketers spending between 20 to 75 million. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a steadfast range, but I think it's that historically is like the worst place to be as a brand. Like, you have a lot of money for it to be really important to your org, but not enough money to get paid attention to by the status quo historical big shops.
Interesting.
And so you probably hire one of those status quo shops, but once the contract signs, like generally speaking, it's you get pushed to junior teams and get like very
you get somebody like my age making
yeah,
some
maybe,
calls.
yeah.
Like, let's just do 4 Super Bowl slots.
Yeah, well, it's not really the age that matters, because it's like we have like young people on our team who are amazing. It's just like what they're exposed to.
Experience,
And some of those larger organizations, like, because they're so big, you get brought in, you get relegated to like one task, and you're not really taught like how it all comes together, and how like a Meta campaign or a TikTok campaign could influence your TV efforts or vice versa. So I think that it's giving brands within that range, or a little bit higher, a little bit lower, what they've been looking for in a service provider. And like a lot of when I started Apollo, it was like, I want to be the media agency that I would want if I was a CMO, because if you're spending like $50 million a year, that's a lot of money. But to some of the biggest shops, historically, like, that's where all of the media contracts went. It's not important enough for them. I mean, they have clients who are spending like billions.
Really?
And so it's a shame. I mean, like, I think some of the genesis of starting Apollo is like previously came from like running one of the biggest accounts on the planet. And even there, it's hard for them to get good service. And the epiphany was like, if it's hard for them to get really good service, imagine what it's like for someone spending $25 to $75 million.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you said brands are spending up to $1 billion, like a couple billions, right, on these on their advertising and marketing media. How does that work then? So like, let's say for a $1 billion spend, like, where's the allocation like going towards? Like, is that creative? Is that media? Is that PR?
That's just the media number, but
that's
like,
just the media number.
That means that if they're spending that much on media, they're spending tons on creative development too, and tons on production.
So that's the placement and like the runtime.
Yeah, like buying television, buying outdoor, buying social. I mean, that's some of the biggest are in those ranges. So of course, like, there's not that many that are in that range.
Right.
But how does it work? I think it's totally different based on any brand. I mean, and how they're deploying their spend, whether or not they're seasonal, what type of products they're marketing, how heavy they are into television, for example. So it totally depends. But I think if someone is spending at that level, they're spending a lot of money in every area of media.
Got it. Yeah, that helps because I should know that stuff, and I haven't really understood.
Yeah.
So can you give us a rundown? Give us like a look into what you guys have done. Like, is there a recent campaign that you can teach us, talk about with us on how it was really successful? And like, how was the flow of media strategy?
Yeah.
And how did that bring impact?
Yeah. I think what's really been exciting to me about Apollo is where our expertise has taken us over the first 5 years. Like I set out to create an offering, like I just mentioned, of the media agency I would want if I were a marketing decision maker on the brand side. But it's taken so many different forms for various of our clients, which I think really speaks to our ethos and delivering solutions that matter to our clients and are going to truly help our clients. So we work with brands like Intuit and MailChimp, and what we've done for Intuit is very different than what we've done for Mars Nature's Bakery or Purely Elizabeth, for example. So I'm really proud of the work we've done for Intuit. We've helped them create a new business unit within their business unit, which houses QuickBooks and MailChimp. So they now have this business unit called Intuit SMB Media Labs, which is unlocking their first-party data from QuickBooks and allowing brands for the first time ever to target small business owners or small business decision makers at scale, which has historically been very hard to do. Like the small business data is either very, if it's accurate, it's very small in scale and very niche, or it's at scale and it's very inaccurate and it's all like modeled and inferred. The one, this was born out of an insight and the fact that I had done a lot of small business marketing over my career and being like, oh, it's like a known fact that it's like impossible to target small businesses. The one place that's not true is QuickBooks because they have a very vast amount of market share for small business accounting software. So I didn't set out to create a business that would like do that for Intuit. But because we had been working with them for a while and proved ourselves to be really thoughtful and solution oriented and just unique in our skill set, we ended up over the last couple of years helping them build that. For Nature's Bakery, I mean, we're like the media agency of record and manage all of their media campaigns, whether it's back to school or launching new products. And so like the form of that work is very, very different than the work we've been doing for Intuit. So I think I'm really proud of that like we, put our thinking in the best ways possible and don't have like a modeled way of like approaching our clients and really listen to them, understand their business, and come back with solutions that they didn't even know were possible.
When did they tap you guys in? Like, is the creative already developed, or are they built, like whether it's external or their internal agency? Like, are you tapped in at the beginning, like, or when the creative's done? Like, and how do you prefer?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's evolving. Like in the early days of Apollo, a lot of our business came from folks I'd worked with in the past and knowing what their business challenges are and finding ways to integrate or ways to partner with them that weren't necessarily like going out for RFP. And so that is, that's a unique thing that's hard to like replicate. But we've now built like storylines where we like, hey, we did this and we could do this for another brand. I think outside of that, where there's a formalized RFP, it comes from a need where they've maybe had a media agency that wasn't hitting the mark and was costing them money or helping, hurting their business progress. And so they put it out for RFP and then we participate that and then we win. Mm-hmm. And, there is the creative already developed. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like when we engage in a number of RFPs where we partner with a creative agency because we just do media and that's by design because we want to be really great at what we do. But we love, like, we think of ourselves as like creative media professionals.
Big
and like
time.
And like love to partner with different creative agencies. So sometimes we'll partner with a creative agency and develop ideas together.
Yeah, that would be interesting if like in the creative brief, like you already had all the placements, like this campaign should show up in XYZ channels. Now you create the concept there. Everybody and then the agency folks will say concept comes first and then the placement. But I think it could be a fun exercise too. I like parameters myself.
Yeah.
Like, that could be fun too.
Yeah, I mean it's very fun. I think media can lead a lot, but it's also the creative idea. If you're doing it right, it's like you kind of need to know what the idea is to know how it's going to show up best.
Yeah.
So ideally are partnering hand in hand from the beginning.
You got it. All right. How did you break into all of this? The name of the show here, Break Entering.
Yeah.
So when did you first decide you wanted to get into media? What were you doing? What were you wearing? How old were you?
I don't remember what I was wearing.
What were you drinking? Was it Starbucks or something else?
It was probably, if I was in college, it probably was not a Starbucks. Gotcha. It probably was something with alcohol in it. I think so. I didn't major in advertising. I went to the University of Oregon, which has a great ad program, but didn't discover my love for advertising until late. I was like a political science major, and I just knew I wanted to work in some sort of marketing or the creative field. I probably originally thought I was going to be like a creative, but quickly found out that like media is a better fit for me. Yeah. I moved to New York and did a various like media based jobs. Like I worked on a movie for a little bit. I worked at ABC News in the control room, which was fascinating, like on World News Tonight and Good Morning America. Nice. And then most of my time here was at Forbes, when Forbes was still a magazine and a .com or separate businesses. So I got to work on the magazine side as a business analyst, which kind of like build the foundation of skills that I then took to the agency space. And when I got into the agency space, I was super lucky to join this firm that was small at the time. It was like 13 people, but it was fully integrated. It had like strategy, creative, production, media. I was like the second person on the media team. And I just feel so blessed that that's how I came into it, because I think that has influenced like my entire career of like, you know, your view on media is that everything works together, and that the media team should be partnering with like the creative team to come up with ideas, which I've found is very unique. Like it's not really that present in a lot of the field, which I think has then led Apollo to be a different offering. But stayed there for a long time, got to work on big things within a small place. And eBay was one of the biggest things that I worked on early days. That was like 15 plus years ago. And eBay was, very advanced and very sophisticated for how it deployed digital media. It was like at the early days of what became programmatic advertising and measuring things with incrementality and advanced analytics. So kind of like set my base and like, that's how media is done. I then got to go start the Digitas San Francisco office because they had won eBay, and I'd been working with eBay for so long that they recommended that they talked to me, and I ended up being like one of the first 3 people in Digitas San Francisco.
Who recommended you?
eBay did.
That's so cool.
Yeah. This guy Luke Tillo, who's still one of my favorites. He's awesome.
And the agency's like, well, we have no choice.
They kind of were, right?
Well, we gotta hire this guy.
They kind of were.
Great. That's smart.
Dave Marcy ended up being my boss, who's I'm still really close with, but I think he was in that position. It's like, oh, we gotta talk to this Eric guy. Okay. But it ended up being awesome. And so like in my first month at Digitas, we pitched and won Taco Bell. And I ended up getting to lead Taco Bell for most of my time at Digitas, which was almost the opposite of eBay. So it was like high levels of accountability, of course, and like needing to, sales overnight and brand over time. Like selling product is super important, but it's all about like infusing ideas into culture and launching a new product every 4 to 6 weeks. So it's kind of like a total 180 from like the world I'd come from on eBay. And I loved it. I think that's where I like solidified my passion for doing media in really creative ways. Digitas at the time had media and creative together. Mm-hmm. We got to launch so many noteworthy products like the Doritos Locos Taco and Taco Bell Breakfast, and everyone like has a mobile ordering app now. But at the time we developed the mobile ordering app and launched it with what I still think is one of the best campaigns ever, like the Taco Bell Blackout. Oh, yeah. So it was just like, there's so many things that I learned in that stretch that are really formative into how I've built Apollo, of like, you need all the things to match up. You need teams that are really passionate and really knowledgeable in their field. You need great clients who get it. Like folks like Brian Nickel and Tressie Lieberman and Cheryl Gresham, who are now all at Starbucks. Like that was our client set. And they're just super smart clients who like say no to things that are not good ideas, but say yes to things when it does hit the mark, and move quickly to make it happen. So did that for a couple of years. That was awesome. I took that passion and then started a media practice from scratch within, at the time it was like the Ad Age Small Agency of the Year, called Mateza Coffer, award-winning creative shop that didn't have media. So there's a lot of proving ground that was awesome for me from an experience level of getting to see how hard it is to start like a practice, especially a media practice from scratch, but not having all the liability of being like a business owner on my own at the time. So that was a journey, and also realizing that there's a different side of the creative field. Like Mateza Coffer, I think, was a little bit more of a traditional creative shop at the time, and Digitas was very digital in nature. So learning that not all creative is the same way, and you need to like really educate and convince them why partnering with media matters. But it ended up being really successful. Worked on a bunch of things, but most notably, we got to launch SoFi essentially from scratch. It had been around for a bit, but it was like right when they came out of the gates in a big way. And we're able to achieve really big things with small teams of people, like launching in the Super Bowl and high-level broadcasts and national outdoor and really robust digital plans, and did it all with like a team of less than 5 people, which obviously is present now within Apollo. Of like, we don't need huge teams of people to do big things. It's like probably better to have less people sometimes. Okay. And then after that, I went to Group M and led the global Google business for a number of years, which gave me a chapter of experience that I didn't have, of like leading things on a global level, and launching all sorts of different products from Pixel to doing big YouTube campaigns to Chrome and Chromecast. So I took a reflection point of all that kind of diverse set of experience and realized that I've been quite lucky to be exposed to all these things across like some of the most noteworthy brands, and understood like the nuances of performance media and brand media and broadcast and sports licensing and entertainment deals, and thought like I love doing media. I've always kind of wanted to be an entrepreneur and build the kind of company that I would want to work at. But are in a really unique place to be able to do this, because not many people get exposed to all that stuff. Yeah. And have been able to like lead all those really great brands. So took the leap right before COVID, and like it's been fun.
It's been going and growing.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm curious then, like, what advice would you have like to your younger self? If you like, you can talk to yourself about your career, what would you say?
Yeah. I don't know that I was conscious of it at the time, but I think always jumping to the harder assignment has been so beneficial. Like I jumped to raise my hand for Taco Bell because it sounded cool, and it was like the clients were really tough, but I liked that because it makes us all better at our job. So I think like being an avid learner and like jumping into changes is a great thing, but kind of jumping to the harder assignments. And I think when I did some of my best learning over my career was when I felt like I was overwhelmed. And so you don't want that to be a sustainable state, because it's like, it's probably not good over a long period of time, but periods of stress can be really beneficial. And so I'd encourage people to embrace that. And also, like, I mean, my biggest factor of like younger folks is how much do they really care about what we're doing, because you could do any job, but I think if you're going to be really successful at least in our field or at Apollo, like it requires people to get excited about it and care about it.
I love it. If you're now, next thing, if a brand, maybe somebody that's high up, like a VP of marketing or CMO, is not feeling good about their current media situation, what would you tell them to do differently?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you're at one of there's so much shakeup at the big holding company level. So I think if you're not feeling great about it, it's probably not bound to get any better anytime soon unless you make a change. I think that I'm partial because I'm on the independent side, but if I were a decision maker at a brand, I would definitely go with an independent shop, because we don't have any stake in like principle-based media, for example. Like I just don't believe in it. It's basically pushing media down to clients that the agency is benefiting from, and that really should not be our job. Like our job should be,
what would the agency benefit from?
Do you know principle-based? So a principle-based media buying at a high level is that like an agency has made a commitment to a given media company and gotten preferential pricing for that, and then sells that media back to their clients and takes a margin on top. So we don't do any of that.
That's messed the frick up.
Right? It's essentially kickbacks, but now rebranded in a different way. So I don't believe in it, but it's become a very like present theme in our industry. So I'd encourage them to really think about how their media is being placed, how much money they might be wasting. Like if they feel great about their media agency, that's awesome. But if you don't, like there's better options out there. And really think about who's staffed on your business, because tools and technology are immensely important. But at the end of the day, it's all about the people on your business, and how much they care, and what type of ethos they have. So I would encourage them to take a fresh look at it and maybe see if it makes sense to make a change.
I love it. How could people reach out to you if they want to make that change?
Oh, they could email me. My email address is eric@apollopartners.co, not .com. Common mistake. Or reach out on LinkedIn or any other platform.
Well, nicely done, Eric. Thank you so much for taking the time, sharing your story, teaching me along the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cheering you guys on.
Thank you very much for having me.